Hello, my name is Russ Tompkins, and I'm making this instructor video available for you for this online class. And I want to welcome you to Public Speaking 101. The name now is, I think, Communication 101. And I'm so glad that you're taking this class. I'm excited to be your instructor, and I'm going to be doing these weekly videos so they will kind of take the place of us being together in a class. And I hope that you take advantage of watching these videos. Thank you for taking advantage and watching this one. I'm going to be explaining things to you, giving you examples, showing you online exactly how you do everything. So this should answer a lot of questions that you might be having. For some of you, it might be things that you already know or that you can figure out intuitively. And that's great. You can figure that out. So let's get started. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, my name is Russ Tompkins. You can call me Mr. Tompkins, or you can call me Russ. You can call me whatever that you'd like, instructor, teacher. I'm technically not a professor, but a lot of people call me that as well. I've had a long background in public speaking. I have a master's degree in communications, and I have taught at Metro since 2005. In particular, I've taught this public speaking class, so I'm well familiar with all of the things that you'll be doing. I'm married for over 45 years to my wife, Connie, and we have two grown boys that are both married, and we're excited for that. They both live in Omaha, so our family's really close. My wife and I live in kind of western Omaha, close to the Gretna area, and I'm just doing this now as something to do for part time. I was a full time minister. I was a pastor at a church for over 30 years, and I retired about 4 years ago. Took early retirement so I could spend more time with my wife. And what I do in the meantime is teach here and at a couple other colleges as well. So I'm excited to be here. As I said, I've got a lot of experience at doing this, and I'd like to share what I know, my knowledge with you. I love to do that. I love to teach. At this point, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and showing you, what to do on Canvas. If you have a second monitor or another computer you can go to, maybe you could play this video on another device like an iPad while at the same time you're looking at your computer. So I advise you now to maybe pause the recording, this video, and then open up your Canvas website so that you will see the same thing as I see. So I'm going to be putting my screen up at this time. You'll still see me there in the little box. Hello, that's me up in the corner. And I'm sharing my screen. This is what the home screen looks like for our class. Communication 1110 WH online. So our section is WH is the section. If you look over here on the left side, I'm using my mouse to kind of scroll up and down on the different things on the website. This is called the global navigation menu is what this is. And this is where you would go to select things like what your account is at Metro. The dashboard simply shows all of your classes that you are currently enrolled in. This is the courses that you can go to specifically. So that's where I always start is I select courses and I select this particular course that I want to work with. If you are interested in looking at the calendar, you can click on that. I don't really include a lot of things on the calendar, but that might be helpful. Inbox is good because Canvas has its own inbox where we will send and receive emails. So check that inbox on Canvas and you can see if you've got any email. You also can check the email on the regular Metro site, and that's another place. So there's really two places on Canvas here that you need to check for emails. One is the Canvas site, and the other one is the regular Metro site. I don't really use the history or the help is obvious if you need help with something on Canvas. The next thing, if we move over, this is the class menu, and these are the things that we're going to be looking at. If we scroll down the home menu, This just it's supposed to be a picture of me there, but before I turn gray. And this is just a little introduction that introduces some of the things to you, gives you my Metro email address, and tells you a little bit more about me and what my background or credentials is. Has my cell phone number down here. So you can text me if you need to. You can call if you have to. But that information is important. So this is the home page. Then the next one down, people, is simply a list of all of the people in the class. And so it shows you what class they're in. And if you wanted to, you could select one of these persons, and it may give you their email address and other things about them. They haven't added any bio yet, or there's no links or anything for Isabella. So Isabella was one of the persons in the class. This just gives you a list of people. Syllabus is an important document. We're going to come back to that in just a minute, go through that, as is Pearson. Pearson is a place where you can access your textbook online. And so you do need to have a textbook. I'm holding up the textbook now so you can see the cover of it. This is the actual book you can get at the Metro Library. It's the 11th edition of this textbook by BB and BB, called Public Speaking: An Audience-Centered Approach. You will have various reading assignments from the textbook and then a quiz on those reading assignments. So it is important as far as grades that you get your textbook as soon as possible. But here's how you get the electronic version of the textbook if you want it. This, you just click on Pearson, which is the name of the company that we get the textbooks from. And then you have to set up an account. You set up an account by going to Open Pearson, and then you set up your account. You type in your username and a password. If you don't have a username or password, then you create an account here. And so if you've used Pearson for other textbooks and other classes, then you should already know what your username and password is. If not, you can click on this Forgot Username or Password. And then once you've got all that set up, you link your account to this class. And I've already got the book set up so that it will have you then, it'll open up the book. I'm going to, for right now, I'm going to move off of this, going back to this. I'm going to leave the student view for now, and I'm going to go ahead and open up Pearson with my account so that you can see what the book looks like when you actually go to it. So here's the book itself. You can see same picture as what I held up. This is a hyperlink, and you just click on the electronic version of the book and it'll open up. You can read it chapter by chapter. It's got other resources and things for you. So go to dashboard or settings. I can't remember. Okay, here it is under resources. That's open the book. Yes, I want to open the book. Now we're opening the textbook electronically. This will happen for you too once you've got it set up and you've given them your credit card information and all that sort of thing. And here it talks, here's each of the little things about Revel, which is yet another name. It's a Pearson and here's all the chapters. So you see, here's chapter 1, Speaking with Confidence. So then we just click on that and it'll pop up here. Here's chapter 1, and you can scroll through and read exactly the same as if you had the book in your hand. All right, we're going to move off of the textbook now. Hopefully you'll be able to get that textbook as soon in your hands as soon as possible. You definitely need to have it before, I would say before Friday of the first week of class, because you have a quiz due by Sunday night. You need to give yourself time to read. The first week, there's a little more reading to do than most weeks. So give yourself some time to do that. Announcements is a place where I'm going to be placing different weekly announcements for you, sending you also emails. So I'm going to be communicating with you a lot. So kind of get used to seeing my name pop up on emails and check the announcements and so on. I try to post announcements by Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. And so that's where you can go and check that out. I'll try to put in the announcements the YouTube link for these videos, instructor videos, so that you can check that out in the announcements each week. Then modules is something that you'll want to go to as well. A module is exactly the same as a week. So when this says module 1, Foundations of Public Speaking, that's exactly the same as week 1. So I just want to walk through what each of the modules has in them so you're kind of familiar with them. The first is learning objectives and tasks. And let's see, I want to go back up to student view. So let me just click on student view. That way you get to see this module the same as what you would see it. So here we have the learning objectives and the task. If you click on that, it just gives you a whole list of this is what you need to do. Task is something to do. And so you read these and you know exactly what you need to do. There's 4 chapters that you're going to be assigned for this first week. You've got an assignment, you've got a discussion that you need to do. All those things are due for the week. And I'm going to go back. And then there's a little lecture. This is kind of a shortened form of this video lecture that you're seeing. So you can read this over. It's just a little paragraph about each of the readings is what it is. So it's really not that, doesn't give you that much information. Then here is an assignment that is important because it has points with it, 40 points for this quiz that's due by this first week. And then there are chapters that you're going to be quizzed on, so you need to read it. Now, to get to that quiz, you simply click on this hyperlink. It takes you to the quiz. And then once you get to that quiz and you're ready to take it, then you'll see some things at the top here. And so it says that it's for 40 points. There's 40 questions, so there's 10 points for each of the 4 chapters. No time limit on this for you, so and you do have 2 attempts to do the best that you can do. If you have any trouble with the technology or your computer dies, something like that, then please let me know so that I can go through and adjust. It's called to moderate your assignments on here. So that's how you do that, you moderate. So let me go back now to the module. Here's a discussion that you'll need to do, and you need to click on the discussion, read what it is that you have to do, and then you go forward. So I'm going to leave the student view for now so you can see the discussion because it's locked right now. But there's 4 questions here, and you answer these 4 questions. One thing I want you to note down here in the red, and it's always going to be in red, or it's going to be in italics, like up here. Those are instructions for you. Read over those instructions because they're very, very important. For example, here in the instructions, it says in order to receive credit for this activity, it's worth 10 points. To get those 10 points, you must have clearly written sentences in correct standard English. So you have to use complete sentences. Each entry must be a minimum of 75 words total. And you have to respond to at least 2 other classmates as part of that 10 points. So I'm going to be taking out points. Let's say you post this discussion and then you do not reply to anybody else, then you only can get half of the points because you only did half of the assignment. Or what if you don't do all 4 of these questions? You only do 1 of them. Then you again get points deducted because you didn't do that. So it's worth 10 points, and it is something that you just respond to. So when you're ready to respond to this, you just click on this reply here, and that opens up a text box. And you can just type your answer right in here, or you can cut and paste from your computer from a document, or you can insert a document, upload it from your computer. Now, I would recommend that you do not do this, that you just either cut and paste or type directly into the discussion because that way everyone can read it. Not everyone has the same computer, so that sometimes we can open some documents, can't open up other documents. All right, I'm going to go back now the discussion, and go back to our module again and continue on. Then there's this assignment drop box. This is assignment. By the way, this discussion is due by Sunday, June 11th, and then your replies to classmates are due 2 days later by no later than Tuesday of the second week of class. And then you have this assignment here, communication apprehension test. When you click on this, then you have to actually go to another site, and there's the instructions right here on how to do things. And then you click on this site, it'll take you off of Canvas, and it'll take you to another place where you complete this comprehension apprehension test. And what comprehension apprehension means is how nervous do you get, how anxious in speaking in front of a group of people. And so this is a test, simply ask you questions, you respond to them. If you complete this assignment, you get all 10 points. And you simply show me proof that you have completed this by telling me what your score was, and then also by giving me some comments on that particular score. All right, so let's back up out of this now. That's another assignment that's due in this first week. And again, we know that it's due because it has points next to it. You see it says 10 points, and it has a date when it's due. So it's June 11th. We have another tutorial that you need to do. This is watching a 33-minute video for this first week. I have a YouTube link that's on here. Again, I'm going to scroll up and go to student view so you can see what this looks like on your computer. So if I go to this speaking tutorial, what will show up is this right here. This is a instructions for this tutorial, and read this over, complete the worksheet after you watch the video, and then submit it to me. If you want to, you can click on this. This will open up a document. You see if that's what it's doing right now. This is the actual worksheet document. And you can print this off and then use this worksheet at home. Complete this. I've got some of the things listed on here. You fill this out as you're watching the video, and then this will help you then when you do the discussion. So back up out of this. And now we're back here at the tutorial. So then what you'll do is you'll go down here to this video, and this is where you actually watch the video. You can watch it from here because here's the little hyperlink. And if I click on this, it should start up. Takes me now to YouTube. You see there's a picture of Andy Harrington. Now it's starting up and it's playing. So again, we won't watch this video right now. I'm going to close out of that, and we'll go back to module 1. If you'd like to, I've created a PowerPoint for chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can look at that here. This is guidelines for your very first speech that you have to do in class. Narrative speech is what it's called. It's going to be due in week 2. I'll be going through much more details about this speech at the next week's video for week 2, but we can take a look at it here. This just tells you that it's a 2 to 4 minute speech, so you're aiming for 3 minutes. It tells you some more details about it. Just scroll down and it's just something to read here to tell you what the speech is about. I also have sample videos that you can watch for this as well. And so those are right down here. New game, new life, sample speech is a sample one. So you can look this over, read it over. This is what a written out speech. So you can see that. You're not going to write your speech out word for word. You're going to be delivering it and recording it. And we're going to be watching the video, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Here's some other sample speeches that I have on YouTube for you that you can watch. And then here's another one down here called A Mile in My Shoes. That is one written out, so you can read it. These are really instructive. So watch these as examples of how to, do your own speech. And again, I'll refer to these more next week when we talk more in detail about this very first speech. This very first speech is about you. Narrative means a story about you. And you can either tell us something, an event that happened in your life, something that you remember that happened that was important to you for some reason, or you can bring an object to class and you can talk about this object. And this is a page that I put together that uh, is how to select an object. What kind of object would you bring to class, and how would you use it, and things like that. So you can look this over. You might, for example, if you're into sports, you might bring a volleyball or a basketball, with you for the speech and say, tell me how you are like this, or how this particular object has influenced your life, how basketball has changed, your outlook on life. It's taught you things like teamwork, working hard. It's taught you how to, keep yourself mentally fit and physically fit, all those kinds of things. So just information that about how to pick an object. So basically, you just kind of scroll through and select each one of these. And I would recommend that you do that once you have access, to this material. Then go through and do all of the things. And then we're into week 2, module 2, and of course that's for next week. So we don't need to worry about that. So that's the modules over here on the course or class menu site. So we're going to next go to how we do the recording of the speeches. We use this right here. It's called VidGrid Portal. Because I'm not a student, I don't have access to the student view of VidGrid Portal. I'm going to be going through how you do the recording next week. And exactly how it should show up. But when you click VidGrid Portal, then you simply go here and you launch the VidGrid Portal, and then you upload your video. You do not use VidGrid Portal to record anything. Do not record on VidGrid Portal, but you simply use VidGrid Portal to upload your video that you create. And I'll show you how to do that in more detail next week. And grades, if you want to see what your grade is, you click on grades and it lists all the assignments that were graded, which ones I have graded, which ones I've not yet graded, what your average is so far, and so on. So you need to be checking each one of your grades, and especially ones that I don't have graded or that have zeros by them. A zero means you didn't do it, or you didn't do it at all correctly. So definitely you need to check on those things. All right, we're going to go back now to the home screen. And there's one last thing I want to show you, and that's these things on the right-hand side. I really like this because this gives you a list of things you haven't done yet, things that are to do, a to-do list of when assignments are due. So you can kind of use this as a checklist of when and what time and all of that, of what things that you need to do and get done. So that's basically the Canvas website. I can help you if you have difficulties. We can do a special Zoom session where I can have you show me your computer online. I can take a look at it and can help you and walk you through all the things that you need to do. So at this point, I want to go through the syllabus that you have that's online, so you understand what is expected of you in the class. This is the syllabus, and I have these hyperlinks placed with all these documents. You see this is a hyperlink. So if you wanted to open this up in Word, Microsoft Word, and then print it out so you have a printed syllabus, then you could do that if you want. But this shows you the class itself, of when the class begins and when it ends. Important here is the census date. That is June the 16th. You've got to be logged on to the course, and you've got to at least complete the first discussion, module 1 discussion, by June 16th. If you don't do it by that date, then you're going to be dropped from the course. So to be included in the course, that's very, very important. I'll be asked on June 16th who is participating in class and who is not. And this really affects those that are getting financial aid, because if you're not participating, you will not be getting any financial aid. And here's my contact appointment. You can see again, this is a hyperlink. That's my email. We're going to skip through some of this. You can read it. This are the requirements for email. And by the way, I do want you to use Metro email. So we have a record, a written record of emails back and forth. This is to protect you so that you can have proof of things you've sent me or things that I've sent to you, things like that. This is a basic description of the course, that things that you're going to be learning. Here's the technical part of what you need to do. Here's the name of the book that you need to have and information about the book, your computer requirements. The way that this class is structured is it's online, and so you can jump on board anytime. And the expectation of you is that you'll at least log on twice and in a certain week. Here's a response time. I will respond within 48 hours. Emails, I try to check my emails every day, so I'll try to be a lot sooner than 48 hours. But text me if for some reason things aren't going, you're not getting a reply to email. Maybe you've put the wrong, maybe you spelled my name wrong. For example, if you look at my name up underneath of me there, it's no H in Tompkins, but a lot of people spell it Thompkins. And then if you did that, it would not get to me. So make sure you spell my name correctly. Here's assignments, all the speeches and when they're due. The first one is narrative speech. It's due in the second week, second module. Then you'll be doing a demonstration speech with some kind of presentational aid. Maybe it's PowerPoint, or maybe it's an object you bring to class to show us how to do something or how to make something. That's a little bit longer of a speech, 4 to 6 minutes. Then your last two speeches are 6 to 8 minutes long, and one is an informative speech that you'll do with some research, and the last one is a persuasive speech that, again, will have research to it. So you've got speeches due in weeks 2, 4, 6, and 9, and before that, we'll be explaining to you how to do each one of those. Delivery style extemporaneous. That means you will not be writing out things and reading to the audience from a sheet of paper. If you do that, then you'll be getting a 0 grade on that, or a very low grade on that, because you're required to use note cards. So get note cards and speak from note cards. I'll speak to this in more detail next week prior to our very first. This explains more about what extemporaneous speaking is all about. Then here's the grading. You can see here the percentage. It's pretty standard in Metro as far as what is an A, B, and so on. And then here's the different points that are available for different assignments. And then it's a total of a little bit over 1,200 points that you can earn. And I simply take up the points you've earned, divide into that the total number of points that are possible. And that's a percentage, which then will match with A, B, C, and so on. Here's late work, makeup assignments. You need to contact me, so read over this. Criteria to determine your final grade. Here's information that's important for you to read over, but we're not going to take time to read over right now. Attendance, participation. As I said, you're required to log on at least twice a week. And I do check that to see how many times a week you're logging on and using Canvas. If it was me, I would do it much more than 2 weeks, or 2 times a week, but that's up to you. All right, at this point, then the rest of this is just important information, but not information we're going to look at right now. At the very end of the syllabus is a kind of a listing of all the things for each week that you're going to need to do. What chapters out of the book are due, what the discussion is for that week, when the speeches are due, what your quizzes are over, all of that. So you might want to look that over, maybe even print that out. If you're old school like me, maybe print it out and post it somewhere. So it'll kind of help you to understand what that's all about. All right. I think, and then we get to the end of the syllabus. So at this point, I'm going to stop the sharing. Just take a little break in the class at this point, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of conclude this and talk about some more important things. Hello, I'm back again, and to conclude this first video, again, want to welcome you to class and just kind of review with you some things that you need to really do that's important for this first week. For this first week, the most important thing is to get your textbook as soon as you can. If you go to the electronic version, they let you test that out for free. They give it to you for free for 2 weeks before you have to make a decision to buy it. So even if you don't have time to go to the Metro bookstore and to get your book, you can use the electronic version for free for the first 2 weeks, and it won't charge your credit card or anything until after that 2 weeks when you say, yes, I want to buy it electronically and have it electronically. So get your book. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to review and read chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4, because you're going to be having a quiz on those at the end of the week. By Sunday, you're going to have a quiz. So read that over and make sure that you're ready for that quiz. You can always retake the quiz. You have 2 chances at it. We'll keep the best score for those. And then the next thing that you should do is you should start going through the modules and see those assignments, reading through things so you understand what to do in class. And then watch that Andy Harrington video. Complete that'll you'll need to block out about a 35-minute time period, maybe a little bit longer, so you can pause the recording to write down information as he talks about the different things, and then you'll be ready at the end of that video to submit to me on Canvas the things that I'm asking you about the video. That way it's proof to me that you did watch it and you understood the video, and then I'll give you the 10 points for that. So look those things over, get that discussion in by Sunday, and if you have any questions of any kind whatsoever, make sure that you contact me. I want to lastly talk just a minute about this very first speech that's due next week. I know some of you were kind of panicking already. You're nervous because you didn't want to sign up for this class. You're really nervous and scared to speak in front of people, and especially now that you've got to record this and do all of this. So I want to help you by sharing, some of the requirements of the speech and some things for you to start thinking about. And so we're going to go back now. I'm going to share my screen with you again, and we're going to specifically be looking at under modules. We're going to go back to home, so we clear everything out here. And I'm going to go back to modules, and I'm going to go back to module 1. If you remember, in module 1, it had guidelines, narrative speech guidelines. I put these together and wrote them to help you. But I just wanted to review some of the things on here for you to start thinking about now so that you're prepared next week. I would imagine that you should be selecting your topic for this narrative speech and getting it ready to go, and be ready perhaps by Wednesday or Thursday at the latest of week 2, so that you're ready to record on Friday, on Saturday, and then you can post it so that's up there no later than midnight of Sunday, the second week of class. And so start thinking about it now. Again, the time limit is 2 to 4 minutes. Whenever I give a time limit, I give a minimum and a maximum time. And so what you're aiming for here is 3 minutes. You're not aiming to have a 2-minute speech or a 4-minute speech, but a 3-minute speech. And I want to make sure that you have an organized speech where you have an introduction of some kind, you have a body with main points, you've got a conclusion. I want to see very definitely that you know how to do that. So if you take a look here at one of the things that you need to know is you need to know what a narrative speech is. And a narrative speech is explained right here and starting in this part right here. And it says that it allows you the opportunity to recall a meaningful, memorable, personal experience by relating a story that you can tell. So you want to tell a story about yourself. And you want to introduce it, the story. It's probably happened when you were a certain age. So tell us how old you were when this happened, what was going on in your life when this happened. It's just going to be one event that happened in your life. And then you're going to kind of walk us through that event and tell us about it. Now, you have another option If you don't want to tell a story, or you can't think of a story about yourself, you can bring an object to class. And this object represents you or certain characteristics or qualities about you that you want to talk about. So here's some other things to think about. You need to have an introduction, a body and conclusion. As I said, three-part speech. That's what we do in this class. And I'll be talking about what the introduction should contain a little bit later. So I'm not going to be grading you on how well your introduction, your body, your conclusion is. Just if you have one, if you have an introduction, if you have a body, if you have a conclusion, what do you say? You're going to be submitting an outline. We'll be talking about that next week too. How do you write down what's an outline? How do you submit it? We'll be talking about that next week. The purpose of your speech is called the central idea. We write one sentence that in one sentence encapsulates, that summarizes the entire speech that you're going to be talking about. You normally have that, I call that, like an announcement is what I call it. Where you say, something, this is pretty boring, but you say, today I'm going to tell you about my experience of how I first encountered something or how I first did whatever it is you're talking about. That one sentence is basically just a announcement of what your topic is. That's a central idea. And the central idea says, here's what my speech is all about today. Sometimes we'll find out later that the central idea can also contain the different parts of your speech. Like today, I want to tell you 3 things that you need to know in order to make this certain, food item or something like that. That's if you're giving a demonstration speech. So there I know you're giving me 3 main points because you said the 3 things about it. Or you can simply just announce the topic too. And so we're going to be keeping in mind a story element. Stories normally have an exposition, which is part of the introduction, where you talk about the beginning part of the story. Then you have rising action, a climactic part. This is probably the middle of your story. And then you have a conclusion to the story. That's down here, the resolution to the story. So you see how stories have 3 parts. This is what I wanted your speech to have, is 3 different parts. You have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an end to the speech. In the very end of the speech, you say thank you at the very end, and then you stop your recording of the speech, and then you listen to it, you watch it. If you're happy with it, you upload it and send it in. But I want you to start thinking now about what kind of topic do I want to talk about in this very first introductory speech, introducing yourself to the class by either sharing with us a story about you, or you're sharing, an object. You're bringing an object and holding it up and showing it to us, and you're describing how you are like this certain object. Now, if the object is something you can't hold up, let's say it's your car or something like that, then of course you have the advantage of filming this. You can film it in your garage with your car, or you could take a picture of it, put it up on another screen and show that to us. But lots of different ways to do that. Well, I need to let you go for now. Be thinking about next week's speech topic. And if you have any questions at all, contact me, email, text, call me if you have to. And I hope you have a great week. This is your instructor, Russ, signing off for now. Thanks.